thanks, Rachel. This is so cool. This is really fun. I only found you guys like 6 months ago, and it was really neat. And in my mind, it was going to be so dark outside and no sun, and we all be living in darkness. But we're okay. There's sun. It's all right. Oh, I'm supposed to do this for Carlos. Also, who knows Hayward, where I'm from? Hayward. We're good. Hayward. Oh, yeah? All right. There we go. That's like when you say, where are you from? You always say Seattle, but I always say San Francisco. But Hayward is a special place. So, I went to high school there. It was really fun. I was just in it. It's cool. I like your artwork. My name is Joe. I'm very excited to be here. I live in Silverdale. I'll do a real quick thing. I do Rogue Gorilla as a hobby. It's been really fun. It's something I was a little like, is anyone gonna care? And then I've gotten to do some fun things. And it's opened up some doors I didn't expect, like meeting Logan. And it's been really cool and a really fun thing to do. And had I not done it, I think I would have missed out on a lot of things. It would have been really easy to do. I am here with my beautiful wife and best friend since forever. So this is Mandy. And this is my son's not pictured, but this is my daughter, Finley, over here. She's the coolest. And then also Kate is here. Kate hates attention. Don't look at her. I would hate for you to look at her. Don't. She's wonderful though. She's an amazing volunteer. If you don't know Kate, you're missing out. A lot of good things are happening in Poulsbo because of Kate. I gave you guys some paper. You can use that. I'm gonna give you a couple ways you can use it. You can do whatever you want. You're grown people. I trust you, but that's just gives you something you can write on. You can play with it. If you're ADD, you can tear it up. But I'll give you a couple things you might want to write some notes as we go. Whatever you can do. I don't know anything about that. This ADD business. I create simple art. I generally stick to black and white art. I just think it's the most dynamic. And I just think when you use bold lines and black and white, it just stands out and it grabs you. And I kind of love this idea of how can I do the most with a little. I just think that's really exciting and amazing, and it catches your eye. And as much as I like doing spooky stuff in the cartoons, I know the artwork is kind of goofy and like 90s skateboard stuff. I still try to work some deeper meanings into it. So some of those I'll reveal today. Some of those you can maybe figure out for yourself. But even part of just coming up in the faith tradition I grew up in, the idea of like, oh yeah, I draw skulls and stuff like that is still to people on Facebook like, why are you doing that? Like, because I want to enjoy my life. I only get one life, right? Let's enjoy it. And so that's actually the main theme. I'm going to go to another slide now. Here's where I need your help. The magic doesn't work without all of you. So on the count of 3, if you say vibrate, we actually don't, the clicker that I'm supposed to have, I have to do this manually, but it won't work. It's a voice activated. So you have to say vibrate at the same time or else I can't change the slide. So 1, 2, 3. Vibrate. Oh, you're amazing. Okay, so again, I'd like to draw stuff. We live one life. You've probably heard of the art style called Memento Mori. If you're an art student, you know about it. I Googled it and that's about all I know. So the idea is, Memento Mori means remember you will die, which sounds really morbid, but it is good because if you remember you'll die, that also means remember to live, because this is temporary. You're only here for a minute and you want to enjoy it. And a lot of us, I think, don't live the full lives that we can live because we forget that you're just here for a minute. And so a lot of my art, like I said, it was based on just doing things that I'm like, I just want to do stuff I love. I want to do stuff I like. It really kind of happened when I was a chaplain. I spent 2 years training to be a hospital chaplain, and I was around death a lot. Not everybody that I knew in my program got to be around that, but I just, for whatever reason, saw lots of people die, and it was an honor to be there with some people in the last moments. It's an honor to be there with families who are saying goodbye. They're grieving, and grieving isn't only grieving the person that's passing. Often it's grieving, and this is what ties into how we live our lives, it's grieving the person that they weren't, that they could have been. Right? And then you probably have relationships like that. And so it was a way for me to blow off steam when I'm up at 3 a.m., in the hospital room. And it's a way, I wasn't drawing in the hospital room, when I'm in the waiting room to get called. When it was a way for me to blow off steam, but also a way for me to express this concept. And it was pretty exciting. So that was really fun. I'm going to give you 3 things, 3 ways that you can live vibrantly. It's up to you if you want to choose them. This is a choose your own adventure. Your life is choose your own adventure. You can do whatever you want. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Good job. I wasn't sure if that was going to work. I'm excited it did. The first one is encouraging other people. When I was in junior high, on a morning, just like this, in Hayward. When I was a junior higher in Hayward, I was bullied incessantly. It was terrible. I had really good friends. We would go to school, walk to and from school, and terrorize the neighborhood. That was fun. So I did have a good group of friends. We were like a little Goonie gang. I did have family at home that was nice. Some of the teens I work with don't have anything good at home and anything good at school. And so Cade's a big part of us, try to give them a piece of happiness, right? Out of the chaos. So I did have that, but school was tough because I went to school and for whatever reason, as fate's allowed, I didn't have classes with my friends. I was on my own. And so I would just get bullied incessantly. It was terrible. And you get bullied enough, especially for no reason, you internalize it, right? You start going, oh, well, there must be a reason. And especially, and I can only, again, my heart breaks for people whose like family does that to them. There must be a reason. So, and then I would start getting beat up and stuff. It was terrible. I hated it. The school rezoned the year I went into high school, and I honestly don't know how I would have survived had I gone to the high school. They just shut it down. They're like, these people are going to kill each other. Let's just shut it down. So they shut down that school. And I went to another school, and I have never, obviously I don't mind attention, I've never in my life been so happy to be anonymous than when I went to freshman year of high school. I was like, please, nobody talk to me. And nobody did. I was like, yay. Okay, so it was great. Wonderful. So the freshman year, I survived, I lived, and then sophomore year, I'm in this music class. I'd never taken music class before, so the teacher was pissed that I was there, and I'm like, well, you should have let me in. She yells at me, as music teachers apparently like to do. I didn't know this. She's yelling at me, so I'm like, hey, pay attention to yourself! And she said, get in the corner. So I was sent from doing nothing worth doing in music, and I had to sit in the corner for a month, and if you can pick up from now, that was a hell of its own, right? That's like Dante's worst circle. So I'm sitting by myself in the corner, and I started this book that this guy gave me, a friend of mine gave me. And the book was all about friendship. And in it, this isn't what the book was about, but it's kind of weird. I was like 15, but I started like I read the book like 5 times in a row, and I started finding all these little things, and I'm like, it's kind of interesting. You can do that. And so what I found was ways to just talk to people and to make friends and keep them connected. And it's kind of weird, but at 15, I was like, I'm just gonna like do this. And so it was really weird for a couple weeks. I would be like, people like, physical touch, and people like hearing their name. So I'd be like, Dan, do you mind if I use your name? I'll pretend I'm not gonna actually touch you. I'd be like, hi, Dan. Right here. Yeah. Hi, Dan. Yeah, there we go. How you doing, Dan? I like your hair, Dan. And Dan's like, enough, weirdo. So like, but I would really try to make it work. And so you work it out after. Thank you. By the way, hands together for Dan. Good job, Dan. Appreciate you. Thanks for doing. But after a while of doing that, I'm like, okay, maybe don't touch so much and use their name 12 times in a row. It's annoying. But you start to learn that people like hearing the name. And what I learned is people like compliments. Now you can use that. Obviously, if you're a manipulative person, you can be like, yes, don't do that. Be genuine, be kind, but people like compliments and people like encouragement. And they like being around people that make them feel better. Kay mentioned that your husband, Mike, was a Boy Scout. Leave it better than you found it is something that we were taught in the Boy Scouts, right? If you're thrifty, brave, clean, reverend, like Boy Scout, then you can do that. So leave it better than you found it. And so I was like, kind of made it a mission. Like, what if whenever I talk to somebody, they feel better about themselves than before? And the key is you have to be genuine, by the way. You have to be genuine, or else they catch on. They're like, this is weird. Because when you just walk up to somebody and say something like, Dan, your hair is really cool, you look great. It's super cool. But when people hear like you just give them a compliment for no reason, even if you're genuine, what do you think the response is usually? Usually it's like, why are you doing that? Why talk to me? What does this mean? And especially if they're an introvert, or maybe if they've been from like a bullied family or something like that, they're like, why are you being nice to me for no reason? I have no idea. And again, we work with teenagers. So if you really want to test yourself, hang out with like high schoolers for a minute. Be, hi, nice to see you. So it takes years, but we've been doing it. They like us now. They talk to us. They open up. But if you do this with people, it's amazing what happens. And the best part is like a gift that you're giving them that they can't even really reciprocate, right? And if you've ever seen Kim's Convenience, I love it. They always say sneak attack. I love it. I think it's so fun. So you're talking to somebody like, oh man, I like your shoes. And they're like, why do you like my shoes? And then it's like they don't just do it. You're like, okay, bye. Like, why did this person just say they like my shoes or my hair or my whatever? You can make someone feel better. Or if they are talking and you're like, that's kind of like brave that they said that. Like acknowledge that. Like acknowledge these things emotionally. That's even better. You kind of want to, especially I should say, because I don't want some guy here to be like, oh, I'm gonna go tell girls they're pretty. Don't do that. If you can avoid like physical, it's better. Like do like emotional and stuff like that. But, oh man, what's that saying? See something, say something, right? You see something, say something. Be bold. And it's gonna be a little hard. Some people are gonna have a hard time with that with others, but if you make that part of your thing, people are just gonna be like, this is incredible. And when you give other people vibrancy, it just catches on. Your life gets more and more vibrant. Encouragement, do sneak attack. I had one more thought on that. It's coming. Here it comes. Doop, doop, doop. We're just gonna move on. That's okay. All right, next thing is this. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. My wife was amazing. She was working with some high school kids. She had this group of girls, and at one point, one of these girls, it was kind of a weird matchup. She hadn't met them before, and they gave her this older kid who was a teenager. She's a little bit older than the other girls, always teens, and she had kind of rougher background, so it was kind of like a weird mix and everything. Wasn't really sure what to do. And again, not being manipulative, but just like she noticed that she was being a leader, and she goes, "You're such a leader. Like these other kids look up to you. You're doing such a great job." And the girl just was like, "What?" And immediately was like, "Well, hey." And so they had a lesson they were gonna do. She's like, "Hey," she grabbed the book. And you were just like, all right, go for it. She grabbed the book and she's like, all right, girls, come here. And she started doing the lesson. She started saying it's time to get ready. And this girl who was kind of away from her normal setting, all of a sudden, somebody says, you're a leader, you're somebody different. Maybe, and I don't know her that well, but we can assume probably wasn't getting a lot of that at home or in any other setting. All of a sudden is being told she's a leader, and all of a sudden becomes a leader. It's like this thing within her, now she had permission to do and maybe would have never done before because somebody saw it, said it, and allowed her to live a more vibrant version of herself, which is incredible. All right, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. It worked. Oh my gosh. Okay. The next one is listen. Listen. I don't know, when is the last time somebody listened to you? You ever had somebody listen to you before? Anyone ever have that? When's the last time you talked to somebody and as you were talking to them, you were like, they are just waiting to say their thing, right? They're just waiting to say their thing. You've ever come across that? That can be kind of tough. Listening is something, like I said, I was a hospital chaplain. For 2 years, we were just taught how to listen to people. And you think it'd be easy. It's not. It's kind of tough. And it's fairly easy. The first thing is you have to be interested in other people. That's like, you have to decide that yourself. But there's this thing where people are listened to when they actually can talk to you and they feel like they're being heard. It's just amazing. And when I was in the hospital, I thought when you talk to like a cancer patient or someone who's dying or whatever, they're sitting in the hospital. Nobody wants to be in the hospital, by the way. Everyone's miserable, obviously. They're sitting there in bed and you think, oh, they probably want to talk about the fact that they have cancer. Or they want to talk about this, that. They don't, none of them want to talk about that. I can't think of one case where they talked about that. They all want to talk about their family. They want to talk about their life, what they've done. They want to talk about stuff on their mind. They're just sitting there stewing in their mind. And as you start talking to them, and a lot of times you kind of have to, so you can use the first one with this. You kind of have to like, I would come in and I'd be like, hey, do you want to talk to Chaplain? And they go, no. You go, okay. So, and I go, okay, no worries. But hey, I like your watch. And again, be genuine. So I notice their watch or whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, I got this watch or whatever. And then like 10 minutes later, they're like, oh, my dad never talked to me. So they're going. But if the idea is, you sit there and you start listening to them and you're asking questions, and someone who's sick, someone who's in pain, someone who's hurting, once you can help them relieve that anxiety because they're being listened to, it just starts coming down. All of a sudden their healing goes up. And it's this thing that really happens. And that's in the hospital. So that's like the most extreme case. But would we not agree that generally in our society, being listened to, having someone help you ease anxiety, someone listen to you, sometimes just talking things out, it's an amazing feeling. And to feel like you're the most important person in the conversation, that someone's like, well, tell me about you. It's incredible. If you want to live vibrantly, meet interesting people, and hear amazing stories, I will warn you, if you start doing this, I'm gonna give you a couple techniques. If you start doing this, it'll ruin every conversation. Like I go to the barbershop, everyone's talking movies and stuff, and then all of a sudden, why are they talking about like politics and religion over there? Like it's just, and well, why is he crying in the barbershop? Like you just start getting, because when people start opening up, it just starts letting things out. And it's like, it goes from like, oh, just talking to like, immediately hitting these deeper conversations. It just broadens everything because people feel listened to and they feel heard, and you get to jump into this amazing thing. And it just opens up this amazing, vibrant moment where people feel heard and listened to, and it's incredible. It's amazing. It's awesome. I would totally encourage you, listen. 2 ways to do it. 1, you gotta listen first so you can ask like accurate questions, but just ask questions as they're talking. They say something, ask questions. Instead of trying to report real quick, just keep asking. Oh, tell me more about that. You lived here, so what did it happen? Here's the trick. And I was trying to do this yesterday with my friend, and I was like, oh, because this actually is harder than it sounds. I was like, dang, I don't know if I'm doing a good job of this. Because questions are good, and that's where we shall start. But questions, here's where the shark comes in. Questions kind of disrupt the flow of thought. And it could be good because you're trying to get, you're curious, so tell me more about this or that. But it still kind of redirects that flow. And so the shark represents the idea that you want to keep their thought process, like that flow of water, going as straight as possible. So instead of asking questions, you want to be like, oh, so you kind of want to repeat the last few words they said. This is like a little Chaplain trick that we do. So you go, oh, so you were really sad. And like, yeah, I was really sad. Or, oh, that was really hard. Yeah, it was really hard. And so it just kind of allows the flow to go. So that's the cool thing. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo, you're keeping up. All right, I don't know if this is going to work. Let's try this. I like this artwork. I think this is really cool. This one means a lot to me personally. But the last thing is go ahead and sink ship. So we talked about being encouraging. We've talked about listening. And the last thing is go ahead, encourage yourself, listen to yourself. How many of you find the idea of encouraging others like, oh yeah, that sounds great? Now, how many of you are like, yeah, and you should also encourage yourself? Like, oh no, I would not do that. Is that anyone here to do that? Oh, no, you didn't say that. What I would love for somebody to do with that paper is maybe write down the nicest thing anyone ever said to you. Write down the nicest thing anyone's ever said to you, and then keep that and put it on me or something like that. And believe that. Believe that. How many of you love the idea of listening to others? Oh, interesting stories, interesting things. How many of you are like, well, why don't you listen to yourself in your dreams? Oh, please. No, I'm already here. I'm already doing my thing. Living vibrantly, man. It's so easy to do it for other people. It's so hard to do it. Believe when people tell you things. I drew this artwork. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'll just say it real quick. To me, it makes sense. Sinking ships. I saw this guy. I was in Palm Springs, and I was feeling a little bit like walking to the pool. Like I don't feel good. I don't feel like I'm looking great. Everything. And I stand next to this guy, and he had the kind of masculinity that's kind of defined as toxic. And I thought, this dude had a cutoff shirt and a cowboy hat, and a giant beard, and he probably is on the Instagram pages you can imagine. And I was just like, this guy has no problem with himself. Why am I beating myself up? You know what I mean? Like, this guy is more than happy. If he was a captain of a boat and it started sinking, he'd be like, yeah, boat sank. Like, no, you did it. You ran the boat into the ground. I spilled some juice in the fridge the other day. I'm like, no, I'm terrible human being. I'm unworthy of love. I'm just kidding. That's dramatic. But you beat yourself up, right, over these little things. I'm like, this guy why allow him to have all the confidence and all the like running through life? We can all sink ships. Let's all do it. Let's just all believe ourselves, and whatever it is that we would tell other people our dreams are, let's just do them. Let's just live that. Let's just go for it and do it. Why let these other people be confident and do it? We can sink our own ships. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and go out and push and do interesting things and exciting things and have fun. Why not believe the nice things that people have said about us and live those out, right? It would be better if we did that. All right. Second to last one. 1, 2, 3. Last thing is this. This is where it gets a little emotional, even though we're talking about cartoons and simple drawings and stuff. This is a really important thing to our family. My grandma, this concept I'm about to share, my grandma was taken away too early. It was really heartbreaking. She's wonderful, beautiful, amazing. She would have been here. She has the best laugh, and loved her. She's incredible. And she had an immaculate house, beautiful house. And it was like her pride and joy. She would keep, like, we came over, her love language, she'd get it real clean before she showed up. And as she was passing, she said this. She said, I have boxes and boxes of candles. I've never lit them, and they're never going to get lit. And we always were like, oh, man, what? So now in our family, we say, burn your candles. What candles aren't being lit? Who are we too scared to say, hey, I love you? Who are we too scared to talk to? What dreams are we scared to do? What things are we doing that we don't want to do, and I don't know why we're doing them? What are we not doing? Live one life. We get one life. We get one shot. Love others. When I was a hospital chaplain, I'll tell you 100%, the people who left a vibrant legacy were the ones who loved others and the ones who had the courage to do the next thing. You're amazing. You're incredible. Let's do this together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Good job. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.